All right, you guys, we are going to be starting on this page in the packet. We will glue in later. I'm going to start with combining like terms. Now, I will be using 3 different colors throughout this video to show the different types of terms. You can either underline, box, and circle things, or you can use the colored pencils from under the desk. Your choice. Just make sure if you use the colored pencils, you put them back in the bag and close the bag all the way. So we're going to start with combining like terms. And first we need to define what a like term is. A like term is, or are, terms that have the same variable and that are raised to the same power or have the same exponent. So basically things that have the same letter and the same hat, the same tiny number. You can have the same letter, but a different hat, a different exponent, and it'll be a different type of term. They will no longer be like terms. It's one important thing you need to know about these, and we've defined this already, but a coefficient is something, or the number, that is the numerical factor in FACTOR in a term that contains a variable. So something like 3x, 5y, 7, that's just a 7z. The number in front of the letter, the numerical factor of the term that contains a variable. And remember that this is the same thing as 3 times x. Once we have those two things down, when you're combining like terms, you have to identify your terms that are alike. So first, a variable that has no coefficient or no number in front of it, so just the letter, has a coefficient of 1. If you have just an x or just a y, there's not a number in front of them when you see them. There is an invisible, I'm going to put that in a different color, an invisible 1 in front of those two terms. We don't ever write it, it's too much extra work, but it is there. So you have 1 x and 1 y. Terms are things that are separated by an addition or subtraction symbol. And they take the operation so whether that's addition or subtraction to the left of the coefficient. So this term here, because it's separated by an addition symbol, you are adding that term. This one has a subtraction symbol in front of it. You'd be subtracting this term. Same thing here, subtracting that term versus adding that term. And another type of term that you have are constants. Those are values that don't have a letter at all. They don't have a variable. They are just a term with just the number, just the constant number. So when you have something like this, you need to group your terms together, group your like terms together. So like terms are the ones that have the same variable and the same exponent. Here's where the colors come in handy the most. This 5x, there is an x there. So that is one term. And it has a like term, a similar term right here, 2x. This is not a like term because that one has a different hat. This one is squared. That one doesn't have an exponent, so the exponent would be 1. There's no letter there. So these two are like terms. I'm going to use a different color for the next type of term. That one, there's no letter, it's just a constant. The other constant you have is that one right there. And then the last one, x with a square, that's a purple. X with a square. And so when you combine those terms or simplify an expression, you add or subtract the coefficients of each of those terms. So you have 5x and 2x. There's not a symbol in front of the 5x. There's not an addition or subtraction. You just write that 5x. In front of the 2x, there's a plus. I'm going to do a plus 2x. Then you add the coefficients. There's 5x's there, there's 2x's there, so the total number of x's you have are 7 x's. Then the next one, we had blue. Symbol in front of the 20 is a plus sign. So you can put that plus 20. Symbol in front of the 9 is a minus. We have a minus 9. What does that equal to? And then the last one, we had our squareds, x squared. So symbol in front of that 3x squared is a plus. Symbol in front of this x squared is a minus. So you just minus x squared. So you have 3 x's, x squared there. How many x squared do you have right here in this term? You just have the 1 x squared. So you have 3 x squared. You take away 1 of the x squared. That means that you are left with 2 x squared. This is all we are doing when we are combining like terms. We are taking that big long thing right there, and now we're just left with a, I'm going to take and bring that down there. We had a 7x left. We have an 11x left, and we have 2x's, 2x squared. This is what we have left from that huge long thing there. So we just combine the things that have the same letters and the same exponents. So that x squared, those are different shapes. If it helps, think of them as you're combining triangles with circles with another shape. Squares. You can combine a triangle and a square. Those are two entirely different shapes. You can combine a triangle and a circle. X's, x squareds, they're different shapes. You cannot combine those two together. So now we're going to simplify these expressions. So we have y's and x's. X, there's just, well, how many x's are there for this one? There's just one x. So you have 1x. How many y's are there for this one? There are 4 y's. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 1x and 4 y's. Now, again, we don't really write that 1 at any time, so we just really have x plus 4y. Or if you wrote the y's first, you could also have 4y plus x. Remember the properties from yesterday? Doesn't matter what order you add things in, as long as you're only adding, you're adding the y terms and the x terms. So then let's take a look at this one. And I'm going to use 2 different colors here to identify the different terms that are alike. So we have a 3x there and a minus x there. We have our y's there, our y's there. So we're going to join our y's. You have plus 2y plus 7y. So you're adding those two together and you end up with how many y's? you end up with 9 y's. Then you have a 3y or 3x, and you have a minus x. So you're not adding 3x plus another x to give you 4 x's. In this case, you're taking away an x. How many x's are you taking away? 1. There's an invisible 1x. So you have 3, you take away 1, you end up with 2 x's. And there's positive 2 x's. You have 2 x's, so it'd be 9y plus 2x. All right. Looking through this one, don't have any other constants. So the constant, that 5, stays the same. You're not doing anything with it. Same thing with that minus 3x. You don't have anything to combine it with because those are different things. Those are x squared. Those two have hats. That one doesn't. So you can just write it down, minus 3x. Then you're left with these two here. Those are the two terms that are alike, so you can combine them. So how many x squareds do you have now? You have 10 x squareds. 8 plus 2 gives you 10x squareds. And you can have written that in any order you so choose, which is why this is going to be a very, very interesting topic to auto grade, to have Schoology grade. I will do my best to put all the different options in Schoology, but if there's at some point, especially in this video later, when you have to type your answer, you put it in a different order, because this stuff right here, you could have also written it 10x squared minus 3x plus 5. Same thing. Mathematically, these are equal to each other. Sometimes I come up with all the different options, sometimes I don't. So if you, as long as your answer has all those different pieces, all those different terms, 10x squared minus 3x positive 5, you are good to go. Just let me know if I didn't list that term. And then the last one is 2z plus 4x plus z plus 9. So let's see here. We don't have any more x's, don't have any more 9s. We can just write those down. We had 4 x's. We have a 9 for a constant. And then you have these z's here. You can combine those z's. They don't have hats. They go together. You have 2 z's here. How many z's do you have here? You have 1 z there. So when you add those two together, because again, you have that plus sign right there, you end up with 3 z's. So now I want you to try it yourself without me kind of walking you through it. So you have these 8 questions here. I want you to combine the like terms through these 8 questions. It will give you the options of what, or it'll show you the question. So like this is the term that you're going to be combining. And then either ask you to type the answer, or it'll give you the different options. Again, if it asks you to type the answer and your answer is different than what I say the correct answer is, but you have all the same pieces, let me know and I will add that answer choice in, because sometimes you guys put things in an order that I didn't think of. Do my best, but sometimes you guys come up with new things. Doesn't mean you're wrong, just means that I didn't type that in as an answer choice. So you're going through and answering all 8 of these questions. After you did it, if you finish before class is over, go ahead and you can get this handout here. If you are in class tomorrow, or for the rest of class today, you will be filling out this sheet, simplifying all of these problems. Then you will find that simplified answer on the back and color it in. Now notice that there's multiple places with the same answer. You'll color all of those in whatever color it says back here. So I will give more instructions later, but basically follow the directions on the top. As long as you are in class, you will be doing it on paper. If you are not in class tomorrow, you will be doing it, you can do it online, show your work on notebook paper, and then turn it in there. Have a good day.